Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. Welcome back to part 2 in this 2-part series. Last week I had on the show a guest who initially came on back in January this year, but came on just last week to talk to us about Chase the Skies. We got to hear all about King Nex's insights on the Happy Ghast, leads, saddles, vibrant visuals, all that good stuff that we got in the game of Minecraft that has made the game so much better. Now, we are in part 2 and we are shifting gears. Today, we are going to be discussing together about each and every one of the mob vote losers in the past. And I'm going to pick Nex's brain over each one of these. It's a fascinating episode. And so stay tuned. You're going to enjoy it. Let's start the show. As most of you are quite aware, I have King Nex back on the show for our part 2 discussion that we started last week. Welcome back to the show, King Nex. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back. Now, today I would like to do something different as opposed to last week where we were discussing the latest drops to arrive in Minecraft. For part 2, I would like to begin by going over each and every one of the past mob vote losers. Yes, each and every one of them. And next, I want your opinion on them all. Shall we begin?
Let's go. Let's get it.
Cool. Right on. Let's start with the first mob vote and make our way to the last one. I'm going to go ahead and read off every loser and we will just talk about what you think of them. And I'm going to start with the year 2017. And it looks like this year, I believe we got 4 of them. And I'm going to start with, let me see here, something called the Barnacle. And the Barnacle is, are you familiar with the Barnacle at all?
Yeah, I'm familiar with, I think, all of them.
Are you? Okay,
But
cool. Or otherwise known the monster of the ocean depths, I guess. It was a squid-like ocean creature that sucks players down with its tentacle. It would spawn in deep ocean biomes, and its function would add content and challenge to the ocean travel. It received 23% of the votes and was eliminated, I think, in the first round. I really love the concept personally. And I personally wonder why this didn't win over the Phantom. What are your thoughts on this? Because I absolutely don't like the Phantom.
I think at the time, everybody was just like, flying mob, flying mob. And that
Yeah.
was kind of the push. I personally, in the first round, I did vote for the monster of the ocean depths because there was an aquatic update. And then later in that event, they announced the aquatic update. And I was like, oh,
Nice.
well, that's fine then. Because I wanted something in the ocean because it was so barren. It was like another
Yeah.
desert almost.
Yeah. No, that's so you weren't too upset about the monster of the ocean depths losing because you got the ocean update.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I think it would have fit a whole lot better than the Phantom did because um it's also ocean related. So I think it would have been sweet. But I mean, the Phantom is just a whole nother headache in itself.
Do you not like it?
It's a bit annoying to be honest because I mean if you don't carry a bow and you can't really fight it, but then even then, like, it's very hard to shoot them down. Like you have to wait until they're like swooping at you.
Yeah. I've been killed by them a couple times. If you get what do they max out at? Like around 4 or 5? Something like that, right?
I don't. I
6?
think it's about there, but like, yeah, sometimes it just seems like a lot because like one swoops down and one will go up, and then another will swoop, and so on.
Yeah. No, I've been killed not looking, just riding my rail because some of my rails are 14 minutes one way. Like,
Wow.
and so I'll get sidetracked doing something else while my character's in just riding to whatever destination, and I'll get back to playing the game, and you'll be stuck on you've been killed by a phantom. A phantom killed you, or whatever it says.
Mm.
I'm like, man, those are so annoying. I always forget about them. I do like the concept that they come out after you haven't slept for so many days. I think that's interesting. I think that also makes the bed a little bit more important as well. So I think that's cool. But honestly, overall, the Phantom to me, come on, I would have rather had the Barnacle or whatever, the monster of the ocean depths. That
Hmm.
would have been cool. Now
Definitely.
let's move on to the next loser here. This one's called the Great Hunger. And its description is it was a lizard like creature that burrows underground, camouflages, and consumes mobs and items. Sounds so cool. It can add or remove enchantments from player items. It later added as a wait, why do I have this here? The grindstone block. I meant to delete that out of my notes. Sorry, but it received only 26% of the votes in the second round, so it made it onto the second round. Um, oh, sorry, the first round it received 26%. I got my notes all mixed up here, so I apologize, folks. It got 26% the first round, then the second round it is when it lost with 35% of the votes. So it barely beat the Barnacle in the first round. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I
um.
don't really like the Great Hunger, actually. All it did was just remove enchantments. Is that what I'm reading here?
Yeah, or like apparently eat mobs, which I don't really remember that. I do remember the enchantment stuff though.
Yeah, it could add or remove enchantments.
Yeah,
I got
that
all
was.
this info from minecraft.wiki. So,
Yeah, it was before grindstone era, so it would have been a useful thing of the time. But I think the grindstone is a better alternative.
yeah, I was reading another article and they were stating that because I had that note thrown in there about the grindstone, and this is why they were stating it kind of rendered that mob useless because the grindstone came out shortly after. So it would have been just a useless mob
Yeah, I mean,
if it did
imagine if they
win.
didn't add the grindstone and like we had to go look around for this mob to like eat our items.
That would be annoying. People would not like that.
Yeah, maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
Maybe. I the grindstone's for sure more practical.
Mhm.
I don't know. I probably would have gone with who you voted for. The Monster of the Ocean Depths sounds really cool. But I haven't read off the Hovering Inferno yet. Um, Also known, I guess, as the Wildfire. It was a type
Yeah,
of blaze with a shield-like body part spawning in groups to attack players in the Nether with shockwave attacks. They lost with 28% of the votes in the second round. I've never heard of this, and did you know anything about this?
yes, I remember during the Nether update, people wanting it to be added back like so badly. And
Really?
looking back on it, like I know in the moment I voted for the barnacle. I don't know what I switched to be honest. It might have been this. But if that same vote were to happen today, I would be voting for the hovering inferno.
Really? Over the barnacle?
Yep.
Why? What did it do exactly? I know I just read like shockwave attacks, but what does that mean?
So I think it is added in Minecraft Dungeons, and that's where the wildfire name comes from. Um, but in Dungeons, you have to like you can't really shoot at it. I don't think because I think it has those shields.
Hmm.
So it's like forcing you to be like close combat with like a sword. But
Okay.
basically, the shields would be up, and then they would raise up and he would spin around and then like a wave of like fireballs or just fire would come running at you. So it would have been
Wow.
really like complex fight wise. Um but it also like just a challenge in itself. I think it would have like spawned with a few other blazes and it would have been like kind of like a blaze mini boss in a sense.
That would be difficult to combat if they were spawning with regular blazes.
Yeah, that's why I wanted it.
You wanted the challenge, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I like in that aspect where or certain things I wish were harder, but it's not for
No,
everyone.
the hovering inferno. When I was reading this article, I can't remember where it was at. It was perhaps a Game Rant article, but the hovering inferno with its shields, I think it also had kind of like a helmet on it. Almost to me, it looked like something. Well, you like Marvel comics. It almost reminded me of something from a Marvel comic. The way it looked, the shields around it looked pretty neat. But it didn't look like it was varied that much beyond a blaze. Honestly, it seemed like it was pretty pretty similar in design to the Blaze. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that was its intention, but I don't know. I still personally I like the barnacle idea more, but I wasn't around voting during this year. I was off doing other things.
yeah,
It lost with 28%. It looks like the Phantom won by a majority, by a huge majority, which is crazy to me because the Phantom it's lame. I think it's lame. This is not something I want to fill the skies with. I want to see like ambient birds and stuff, like even things that I don't have to interact with. You know what I mean?
right.
Give me Groot like the bat. Make them like the bat. Make it so you can't touch them. They just groups of them fly in the sky or something. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to year 2020, and we're skipping years here because I didn't throw in the biome chooser years. There was a couple years here where I guess they let you choose a biome, which they later just went ahead and added them into the game anyways. so so I chose to not add this in the list. So the year's 2020 here, and this is the Caves and Cliffs part 2. And I'm going to start with the winner, which was the glow squid. What do you think of the glow squid? I know a lot of people don't like it. I kind of do.
See, I played Minecraft Earth, so like I knew it from there, but I think it doesn't need to be there. I mean, glowing signs is cool, but that's about it. I was definitely upset about that winning.
Because okay, so this year we have 3 instead of 4, like the first mob vote year. We had the glow squid, the iceologer, and Moobloom. Let's just go ahead and say it. You love the iceologer, so
I do.
you've told me that. But before we move on to iceologer, I just want to say I personally kind of like the glow squid, just because I do know that's pretty much useless. But I do like how they look. I think they look kind of neat underwater. They almost a little eerie when they're deep down or when you see them in those deeper areas. I really enjoy how the glow ink sac looks just as a pixel design. I think looks cool. I do love the glowing item frames, but I would love to see the glowing ink sac expanded on. I think you could use that in other ways, other crafting recipes in unique ways, I think. With that said, let's move on to Isolager because you love the Isolager. You made that known to me. Um, It was supposed to be a hostile icy illager variant. It lived in mountain peak biomes. It, I guess, would attack you by using large chunks of ice. I'm not clear on how. And the iceologer lost with actually they did pretty good, but they lost with 47.3% of the votes. Tell me, why do you love the iceologer?
So I'm a big fan of Illagers as a whole, and the
Same.
Iceologer comes from Dungeons, and the Snowy DLCs. I think it's called Frozen Peaks. No, 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 it's not that. I'm not sure. Oh, it's Creeping Winter is what it is. That DLC pack introduced the Iceologer, and I think it's a really cool mob to fight. So kind of like how the Evoker summons those like spikes under the ground, it would do
Hmm.
essentially that, but like a cluster of like ice blocks, and then they would drop on you. Um, and I think it would have been a fun challenge, especially in the mountain peaks, where in that update they were receiving their update and they were going to be super tall, and it would have been cool to go up there and have the Iceologer encounter with you.
I think so too. Just to have some villain up on the tallest, coldest parts of the overworld,
Hmm.
that would be pretty neat. That would give its own sense of adventure, like a new level of it. I think that would give a lot of myth, like kind of like the igloos have a lot of myth and lore around them. I could only imagine what the Iceologer would entail. But please tell me, what was it supposed to do with the large chunks of ice to hurt you? Was it supposed to like throw them at you or what?
So he would summon them like above you, and they would follow you around until they were about to drop. And in dungeons, they just like fall on you and do damage. And I think it like makes you unconscious for a little bit. But the way I think it would have been in Minecraft is probably fall on you and do damage a little. But I think it would have
Yeah,
done like freezing damage like powdered snow does, which conveniently was added in the update that would have had the Iceologer.
interesting.
I'm a
His
strong
replacement.
believer. Yeah, I'm a strong believer in like Mojang having a mob winner that they wanted to go with the update. Like back to last year's vote, the Barnacle would have fit in the aquatic update, and then this would have fit in Caves and Cliffs.
Gosh, you're right, though. It is interesting to see what Mojang does with things. It's like the concept of some things don't ever totally get thrown out the window. They get implemented somehow. Maybe that maybe the powder snow is the iceologer. Maybe that's just your phantom in the game that you always have. Just that's as close as it'll ever come to being.
Hopefully not.
But
Hopefully it'll come one day.
I hope so too. I hope all these come into the game, honestly, every one of them, because they put time and effort into them, or some to some degree.
Mm.
I uh I tried looking at some videos of the Iceologer last night, and it seemed like I couldn't find that much, honestly. Do you know if it was supposed to drop anything upon death?
I don't think it would have in Minecraft. I mean, if anything, it would be a brand new item. In
Yeah.
dungeons, I think sometimes it would drop an ice wand, which would let
Ooh,
you use its like same snow attack.
that'd be cool if we got Ice Wand in Minecraft vanilla. That would be just awesome.
Yeah, I
So,
was definitely hoping for that to come with it, but it didn't.
what makes you keep hope that the Iceologer will come into the game?
I think it would go really well in like an illager drop, and like they recently, I guess like it's been a year already, but they said that they had plans for the illagers and wanting to do more with them. And we still have the
Mhm,
illusioner sitting in the back burner, and in dungeons, the illusioner also exists, and
mhm.
the first DLC that he was added in was that same snowy one, and they were like together in the same levels. So I think they're a good pair to be added in together, and I think it would be an underwhelming drop to have like a half baked mob finally be added. So I think pairing him with either a brand new illager or the iceologer would be good. And if they pick the iceologer, that'd be one less mob vote loser off the list.
I think those are some really great points that you made, and you are right, and it hasn't been a year yet. I do remember reporting on, that Illager, them mentioning about expanding Illagers. That was sometime after the September 28th, 2024 Minecraft Live event, they did that, if not during that event,
Okay.
if I recall right. So, it's been not quite a year yet. Um, Maybe that's something we'll see in the fall.
I hope so. That'd be
That's
sweet.
something I wanna talk to you about. your future predictions or what you would like to see in the fall drop. Um, I'll leave the Iceologer there for now. Let's move on to the Moobloom in this year's out of the three Caves and Cliffs Part 2 vote. The Moobloom is very cool looking to me. I honestly really love the design of this. It's a buttercup variant of the mushroom. And I guess it would have interacted with bees. Didn't describe on the wiki how, and the other articles I read, I don't think it was that far into development. It lost the first round with 28.3% of votes. What was your view on the Moobloom?
I thought it was like everybody else. I thought it was cute, and I think the bee interaction would have been sweet.
Mhm.
Um, but I never was like it. The Iceologer definitely stood out a lot more to me because it was like glow squid. That's like really just cosmetic, like cool to have. Moobloom, I don't know what the bees and him would have done. That's something between them. But the Iceologer, I think, was the only one that would have added like actual depth, and that's why I wanted it more.
I agree. The Iceologer does bring with it a lot of depth because just of who that individual is. I mean, the Moobloom, I mean, all the mushrooms. I've written theories over them. My second episode of Realm News ever is over Mushroom Island, as I call it, but it's really the Mushroom Island or Mushroom Fields biome. But
Mhm.
the Moobloom here, I like I said, I loved its design. I liked the yellow. Its flowers were cool looking, as you said. Yeah, it looked really cute. I think it would have been interesting to see what the developers would have done with the beat interaction. Maybe it would have gave their honey something unique. That would have been cool, right? Like
Yeah.
if that would have like enchanted honey or something. I'm spitballing there, but like or poisoned honey. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe it's a red herring. It's a cute mood bloom, but maybe its nectar is pretty poisonous. That'd be intense.
Yeah.
But anyways, I would like to see all these put into the game. Honestly, I love all these concepts, but I'll side with you. The Iceologer is by far very cool, and it looks like the people really wanted it with the 47.3%. They got some good margins there. I mean, it got some good numbers there.
Right.
Let's move on to 2021, the Wild update. And this was the year of the LA. It was the winner. So let me just go ahead and ask you, what do you think of the LA?
I think the LA is cool. I think it goes really hand in hand with the Wild update in itself. Like the music aspect of him, I think is a nice contrast to like the Warden and its sound related stuff. Um, I really like the theory at the time of them being like Vexes before they were taken over by Illagers.
Mm,
Um, I like that. I like that. And then it was like solidified because there was like a almost like a drop release sized little mini update where they updated the textures of the Vexes or the model to look like Allays. So I thought that was pretty cool as well.
that's super interesting. I've never heard of that theory before. Can you explain a little bit on that before? I just need to hear it for myself. The
Oh,
theory.
yeah. So like Allays are only found in mansions and they're only found either in mansion like prison rooms or in the Illager outpost, like little um, crates outside, like the little
That's
chambers that
where I
they're in.
found them.
Yeah. So the theory, I guess, is just that like either the Illagers as a whole or the Evokers like capture Allays and then they like make them evil with their magic and convert them into Vexes.
Wow. They look
They look the same
uncannily
now.
similar.
Yeah, they look the
Yes.
same now.
They look exactly I shouldn't say exact, but they look very similar. I love the LA concept. The first time I ever got in LA, I was ecstatic. I was like I was elated, man, like elated. And I then was suddenly met with despair because I soon lost those allays because I found out they're extremely broken when it comes to them keeping up with you. Like, they were just getting caught on everything. I think I have one stuck is stuck somewhere. My brother said that he saw an allay stuck in a tunnel where one of my train tracks goes through somewhere in my huge world. And I'm
Hmm.
like, like I forgot about it. I forgot it's over there. And then I have another one somewhere in the nether. Um, so that's my problem with delays. Other than that, I love them. I think that was an amazing idea to have something go do thy bidding, like and pick up the blocks that I'm too lazy to go get, or they just accidentally they fell into a cumbersome spot. Um,
Yeah.
Ingenious and handy. Um, but I think they need to be updated, honestly. What do you think?
The allays.
Yeah. Do you have problems with them getting caught on things?
I used to. I kind of stopped using them as much. Um, I think I remember having this one house, and I had like some like trapdoor decorations. I remember them getting stuck on that a lot. And I think also stuck like in between the blocks and like where glass planes were like for the windows.
Mm,
Like I think they
yeah.
would get stuck in that pretty frequently. Oh, and then I had like little support beams on the roof. I'm pretty sure they were
Mhm.
getting caught in between those two.
Yeah. No, my brother and I always talk about this. Same with the dogs because I have a lot of rails and the dog can't keep up. And so uh, my brother and I say, just make it so they appear where you are when you stop. Like, just make them appear there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a big deal, especially for the lay since it's a mystical creature.
Yeah, it
Just
wouldn't
make
be
it,
out of the ordinary.
it wouldn't. It would just be there. That's just my complaint. Let's move on to the Copper Golem that was part of this vote. The Copper Golem here, a lot of people still talk about this today. It was a golem, as in its name, made of copper, and it was attracted to copper buttons, which I think is cool. I wish we had copper buttons, and they would oxidize, which is awesome. I that they would still take on that full oxidation effect, and I guess when full oxidation, they would turn into a statue, which is even cooler. Um, they lost the final round of the mob vote with 45.7%. Why did they lose? I think these are really cool.
Not sure
Wait,
what people were thinking between the LA and um the Copper Golem. I think there was confusion before where they thought that the lay would actually go get you items instead of just like picking up dropped items. Um,
mhm.
so I think that might have been a factor in it. But the Copper Golem was actually who I ended up voting for, and I mainly wanted it because one, new Golem, two,
Yeah.
Copper at the time was still kind of useless, and I was like, this is great, like buttons and like a Golem that can be like a statue as well. I thought that
Yeah.
was gonna be great.
Yes. No, I think it's amazing, and I really wish this would have won over the LA because I don't use LAs. I have 2, like I mentioned, but they're lost now because they're broken, and the Copper Golem would be just amazing because, now we have all the new copper from the tricky trials when they did the tough variants and now the new copper variants. I think this would have been a great addition with that, honestly, and I would have used copper golems like, gargoyles on my buildings. Would have them as statues, and I think they could hold stuff, couldn't they?
No, I think that was just the tough one.
Oh, you're right, which I'm going to get to. Sorry. I skipped ahead, dang it. Let's move on to the last one here in the 2021 wild update year, which was the glare. Um it the glare would this is what it would have done. It would have flown to dark areas, come grumpy to alert players, and potentially light up those areas. The Glare lost the mob vote with 11.2% of the votes, and it pretty much looked like a Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street. I can see why this guy 11.2% of votes. This seems like a really just an extraordinarily weak character. What's your opinion on this?
So I think the feature was more so for Bedrock because on Java you can see like the actual number light levels
Oh,
in dark areas. And it's kind of interesting because I think this was also around cave update era. And they made it so like you need complete pitch darkness for mobs to spawn. So it's kind of interesting that they wanted to have like something built in to tell you the light levels. But I mean
yeah,
it's kinda obvious. You can kinda look and see like, yeah, this is like too dark.
yeah,
But I like the look of it a little because I think it would have blended in or really fit really well with the lush caves.
yeah. It's interesting. I think its functionality is quite
Definitely on the
useless.
weak side, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Um, let's move on to the next year. Trails and Tales. We're getting closer to where we're at these days in 2025. This is in recent memory. The Sniffer was the winner this year. Which what do you think of the Sniffer?
I'm kinda underwhelmed by the amount of plants it can give.
Isn't it
Um,
just two?
yeah.
The torch flower, and what?
What is it called?
I can't remember. I've never found one, and I don't really care if I do, if I may be honest.
I can't remember the tall plant one's name. I have had one before. I think it's pretty weak. It's useless. I think it's a cool looking mob. It's a big mob. The design and color scheme is a little busy. I'm not too crazy on the green, red, and yellow,
Yeah, same. I don't
but
like it.
like concept wise, it's a cool mob. It's just it needs more.
But what do the flowers do?
They're decorational.
That's it?
Yeah.
Can you use them for dye?
Yeah, just like any other flower, but I mean,
It's not like a unique color?
no, no. It's I think it's orange and cyan is what it makes, which I don't think you could craft cyan from a flower before. I think you needed
Probably not.
green and blue, but or yeah, I think green and blue. Um,
Hmm,
but now you could just use the
interesting.
flower, but it's a lot of work for a dye if you were using it for that.
Yeah, I was extremely under what this is when I got back into Minecraft that year. I
Hmm.
remember Trails and Tales. I remember the Sniffer. I remember not understanding it at all.
It
And
it
or
definitely fit the archaeology half of the update.
yeah, kind I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess like how you have to don't you have to find the egg of the sniffer, right? By using the brush.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. What the sniffer does afterwards doesn't make any make doesn't seem very practical, but I mean, I guess I just did a poll over the sniffer, and I'm going to put that in an episode. And it was interesting to see people's comments. So, and I don't want to yuck somebody's yum. A lot of people in those comments, some people love the sniffer. A lot of people collect them to have. I think it's more of an aesthetic thing. So that's cool. But to me, the sniffer is something I'm probably not going to look for or like, yeah, definitely I'm not going to like go out of my way to look for it. But
Yeah.
let's move on to the tough golem here. The tough golem was a statue that could hold and display items, like I mentioned earlier, and move around when awoken, and then it would return to its original spot. It was going to be a golem built by players, potentially with a cloak matching the color of wool used in its construction, which I thought was extremely cool. But this lost the mob vote with 17.2% of votes. It was, guess, not favored.
No.
What do you think about the tough golem?
I think it's cool. I think honestly at this point I'd rather a new golem come in any form. And I think they knew that from the Copper Golem last year and they were trying to give us like a second chance. Um I think the item display functionality would have been really cool
Yeah.
because I mean we have item frames, but like there's no way to display it other than that, and they would have like imagine a castle built and they're walking around displaying like diamonds or armor or whatnot. It would have been cool. And I see all the time like resource packs, or I guess mods that are like adding items that could be displayed on blocks without a frame.
Hmm.
So I think that would have added something like that, and it would have been cool. Maybe down the line we'll get like an item stand, and we'll have basically the top columns functionality in game. But I mean, I don't see that coming anytime soon.
I I am disappointed that people don't want an extra golem in the game. Obviously, like you said, they gave us options 2
Yeah,
years in a row. Why don't people want another golem? Do you have
I
an opinion on that?
I think there's a lot of people that do. It's just, I mean, the LA beat out because of that misconception, and I don't know how many plants people were thinking the sniffer were going to bring. But I mean, there's that's a cool aspect. I mean, it's a lot harder to compete with a basically extinct mob and just having this golem that would walk around holding things. I think as far as the tough golem and copper golem's concerned, I think the copper golem definitely had a bit more of an edge. And that's apparent in the tough golem's performance vote wise. But I think I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if given the options again, if they brought them back, I think the copper golem would be first on the list.
No, it's that's interesting. I would hope because I still hear about the copper golem today. Like I said, it's I don't understand how that didn't win. But I would like to move on to the Rascal here, who is also in this year's Lost Mob Vote. This is an interesting creature, to say the least. The Rascal, it looks like it was a hide and seek type of creature. It was a mob that would have been found on the ground and given hints to players.
Hmm.
Uh, you would interact by it would give the player an item, I guess, after being found 3 times, and then it teleports away. It lost with 27.7% of the votes. What do you think of this creature? Design's kinda cool
The design's
with the
cool,
backpack
yeah.
thing.
I think it would
Looks
have
like a
been
little
sweet
hitchhiker.
to fit in the caves like a little like goblin type of mob. I think Minecraft kind of. I think there's a fair amount of Minecraft players that want some type of goblin looking thing. Um,
I do.
and
I think it'd be cool.
this would have been it. I think this also had a bit of a misconception on what kind of items it would bring you, but I do know it would be like iron tiered stuff. Um,
Mm. That'd
but
be
yeah,
useful. That would be useful, wouldn't it?
I mean, there's been times where I've like early game have like broken tools midway trying to get out of a cave, and it would have been kind of cool to have or useful to have that or like torches be given to me. But I don't know. I I definitely wasn't too crazy over it. I think I considered it for a bit, but I was really more like tough column or sniffer, and I ended up voting for the sniffer.
No, I hear you. I read an article, that same Game Rant article, and it described the same thing you just did about how it would be really convenient if you were stuck down, but underneath the overworld, digging, mining, whatever, and your pickaxe broke, and you had this little dude come along and give you one. It'd be handy, but I don't know. Seems like a cool concept. Maybe they will bring him back. It seems very unique.
Hmm.
I'm not against it. I This seemed like a really weird year. I would say the sniffer shouldn't have won that year. Like, it seems like the weakest out of these 3. I don't get it. Like, the tough golem seems so much cooler than the sniffer, and the rascal seems so much cooler than the sniffer that I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on to the 2023 armored paws. The armadillo won this year. Realm News covered that, and I don't know. The armadillo is a cool creature. Personally, I don't use the I don't armor my paws much. So what do you think of the armadillo?
I think the armadillo is cool. It was definitely added in a biome that really needed more in it.
Yes.
So the savannah and the Badlands both are just like barren.
Yes.
Um, so that in itself was a nice thing, and that was something I thought about when voting. Um, but having wolf armor finally, I mean, there was no beating that, to be honest.
Very
Um,
handy.
yeah, that's been such a long requested feature. But one thing that I do find interesting is like wolf variants and whatnot, like weren't mentioned, and
Mm,
it kind of makes some people have wondered, like, well, what would we have gotten if the crab or the penguin would have won instead? Because the wolf variants wouldn't have made sense. But, would we have just gotten the mobs or would it have been something else? You never
probably
know.
would just gave us wolf variants anyways and said, "Huh, well, you don't know the difference." So no, I do love the armadillo. You are right. Those two biomes are Badlands and Savannah. Super, just so it's just lackluster when it comes to mobs there. Like nothing,
Hmm.
nothing before, and now they're everywhere. There's armad. You can throw a cobblestone and hit an armadillo. Um, I don't know. I have a few of them on leashes in my kingdom, and I just pick up their scoots and store them. My dogs, or not dogs, wolves. Sorry, I like to refer to them as dogs, but they they're all armored, so I do use them. I just don't take my wolves with me very often to where I go because I don't
The
know. I always
teleporting
lose
or
them.
following glitches.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But no, so I'm not against the armadillo winning. I would like to go ahead and move on to the crab here that was in this vote that year. And the crab was unique. It was a mob that spawns in mangrove swamps, has a large arm that could be lost, and then it could also be bred with kelp, the crab. But the functionality, the crab claw dropped when the crab lost its arm and could be used to place blocks further away. Its behavior, the crab occasionally waved at players and other crabs, which is funny. And I saw Waddles, I believe, mention a couple days ago about, oh, the crab call would have been perfect to have with the happy gast. Like you
Yeah.
could play, while you're flying further away, which is a good point. What do you think of this mob and the crab claw?
So I thought the look of the crab, just from the little teaser video, was such a
Hmm.
unique look. Like you think of crabs and you just think like a solid like pinkish orange or pinkish red or whatever. This
Hmm.
boy was like orange and blue, and I thought that was a really cool look.
Yeah.
Um, and like it being in the mangrove swamp instead of like I don't know like a beach biome or something. Like I thought that was cool as well because like mangrove swamps were also kind of dead because all they had was the frog at the time, and then they ended up
Yeah.
getting the bogged and then fireflies just recently. So I was really, really torn because I was like, oh, what if they do the villager trade rebalance and I'm in the swamps more often, and then also I have this
Hmm.
cool new mob in here too? Like that'd be sweet.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
No, that's a good point.
this
No,
was definitely a tough year for me.
yeah, especially since we have a penguin after that. Um,
Yeah,
which uh, I think a lot of people just love penguins because they're penguins, and
right.
honestly, I think that's all this would have been. Let me go ahead and read it. It was an amphibious mob that lived in stony shores, was an excellent swimmer, and gathered in groups. Its behavior was clumsy on land, but was a fast swimmer. It could increase the speed of the player's boat on water. And it lost the mob vote with 25.2% of votes. Next to me, this would have been a pretty useless mob.
As far as the uses go, it's definitely the weakest. Um, this is another one where I really like the look of it. I think it's an emperor penguin maybe with like the
Yeah, you're
eyebrows and
right.
whatnot. Um, I ended up voting for the penguin.
Ooh, I'm sorry. I talked bad on your mob vote. I just was saying its effects
No,
are
definitely,
useless.
definitely. Speeding up votes was the weakest thing out of everything.
Yeah, it's like how often are you gonna be around a penguin? Come on. Like,
Yeah, and it was like kind of copy and paste dolphin.
sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, I was saying it's just kind of copy and paste dolphin.
Yeah, the dolphin and the dolphins in more areas than the penguins, only on stony shores. So I don't know. To me personally, I'm glad the penguin didn't win, even though it does look cool.
Yeah,
But
I voted just because I wanted a penguin.
I like the armadillo and the crab. I think it would have been an awesome addition to the mangrove swamps.
Right. Yeah, this is
But
a difficult one for me. I was torn between the three.
yes, no, for sure, it was very difficult. Well, next that wraps up all the mob losers ever, and we'll never have any more because they did away with the mob votes. The armadillo was the last one ever
Yep.
in 2023. Would you have wanted that to be the last mob put into the to be voted into Minecraft?
I think the way it was handled was the best. I don't really recall any like controversy around the way it was added. I think everybody was fairly happy. Prior to that, the like quit the mob vote kind of petition that was happening. But I mean, I think as far as mob votes go, the mob itself was fine. Great design. Wolf armor is useful. They really made it really buffed compared to its initial release. Later in the snapshots, that changed quite a bit. And adding wolf variants alongside it, I think as far as mob votes go, it was probably the best one added.
Hmm.
And I was definitely looking forward to like, well, what's next year's gonna be? But little did I know.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Oh, in the past. Well,
Yep.
and we're wrapping. We're approaching 2 hours, and I know that I probably kept you on the show way longer than you anticipated. But I've got to ask you before we wrap up, and which we're coming to. I had so many more questions and like future wants and all that. Maybe next time when you come on the show, we can get into that. But I have to ask you, since you've mentioned to me personally, and I've seen you post on X now Twitter or Twitter now X, cave dust, and would you like to expand on cave dust? Is something that's something like an ambient feature you want to see, right?
Yeah, so it just essentially be a normal particle, pretty much acting exactly how gravel does in caves, like if it's not supported, the little textures
Mm-hmm.
that fall underneath it. I think that, but constant almost, not as much, but just like there continuously in the normal cave biomes, in probably dripstone cave biome it would work too, and I think it would be really nice and add to the deep dark. Cave dust in those three biomes would be great. I don't think the lush cave needs it, and it also wouldn't make as much sense because the top of lush caves is usually moss. But I think that'd be a great ambient feature for the caves, especially with the fog changes in caves. That plus the particles would go a long way.
No, I think it would add an extra layer of immersion for sure. I think it'd be neat if you had similar physic effects to dust as it kicks up and slowly settles down would be neat. And
Hmm.
seems to me that Mojang's really enjoying playing around with particle effects lately. I mean, that's essentially what the Firefly is,
Yeah.
just particles. And I honestly, something that I always forget about is what is it called? The drip leaf plant. I was in one of my towns the other day and I have a drip leaf plant hung up on the ceiling. And when I first arrived in that town, I was like, what are these little green things floating around? These aren't fireflies. And I was like, oh, they're spores. I forgot that that thing emits spores.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. And I love those little features. So cave dust, I'm on board for that.
Right.
I was going to ask you what you wanted to see improved the most, upgraded systems like enchanted food, combat, travel, fishing. But man, I'm going to have to just ask you all that stuff next time you come to the show next.
Okay.
Um, I want to ask you though again, can you please let everybody know where they can find you?
So you guys can find me on Twitter at a damp towel, or look up King Next, whichever the one pops up for you. And yeah, I just respond to Minecraft stuff. I post ideas on Minecraft stuff, and I also like Marvel.
Guys, go check out his account. Go talk Marvel and Minecraft with him. Thanks again for coming on to the show, Nex.
Yeah,
It was great. It's always a pleasure having you on, getting your insights. I hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
thank you, you too, and thanks for having me on again.
Hey, Realm News fans, it's your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am here to tell you that your support means everything. Spread the word by telling friends, liking, and commenting on Spotify or Good Pods. Find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or via email at bio.link/realm news. For more content, join my Patreon at the Copper, Diamond, and VIP tiers for early episodes, bonus content, and newsletters. Find out more at bio.link/realm news. No pressure, though. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and see you at the next Realm News.